Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. This is Pastor Free, Abundant Life Church, and these are the free rants, yeah.
Kings and kingdoms may all pass away, but the name of the Lord will always be holy.
All right, so let's get in it. As many of you already know, this coming Sunday, we've declared around ALC a hoodie worship. We're asking all members of our church fellowship to come to worship wearing your hoodies. And this is really in support of a kind of national awakening, if you will. February 26th, a young man by the name of Trayvon Martin, 17 years of age, was gunned down and eventually died. He was killed by a man named George Zimmerman, who was out on a neighborhood watch, and his claim is that it was self-defense. There have been a leakage of audio tapes of the 911 call, and there's speculation that it was racially motivated. And all throughout the nation, there has been this great upheaval of African-American people and people in general who are upset about the fact that this man could kill a boy and then walk away without being arrested or being charged. Now, there are so many things that are still open for speculation, whether or not this was self-defense, whether or not it was racially motivated, or whether or not this guy was just being a watchful eye in his community. All of those questions will probably be answered better during the course of the trial, because he has now been charged with second-degree murder, which is an answer to one of my prayers, and I believe brings healing to some of our community, that this man is not just walking away scot-free and a young life has been taken. But it has caused a great deal of unrest. People have their hoodies on, and, protesting. Trayvon Martin, one of the amazing things is some people who won't stand for anything, they'll jump on the bandwagon of protest. So there are some people who have stood up, and I don't see myself as a political pastor. You ain't gonna never catch me with the Al Sharpton perm out there talking about we shall overcome. That's not necessarily my thing. I believe in preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ straight and simple. But I do believe that when God cares about a thing, when God is concerned about a thing, then the people of God have a responsibility to be concerned about that thing. And so there are so many things surrounding this particular case that pique my interest, because I believe it's something God cares about. The major thing is profiling. You can call it racial profiling if you want to. I just want to call it stereotyping, generalizing. Whenever you look at a person, you think you know that person based off of what you see, what you hear, the type of people that you've met before that seem to fit a similar mold, then that's profiling. And it's been happening since the beginning of time. Jesus Christ himself was profiled. They say he couldn't be the Messiah. He couldn't be the King of Kings. He came into town riding on a donkey. He's a carpenter's son. He was born of a virgin in a lowly town. And they judged him wrong. They judged that book by its cover, and boy, were they wrong. He is the Son of God. But that same thing happens over and over and over again throughout history. African American people for many years and still today are judged to be less than human, second-class citizens in this country that we've built because of the size of our lips, because of the color, the hue of our skin, because of the kankiness, let the church say kankiness, the kankiness of our hair. And people look at you and they think they know you because of what they see. And so that's one of the things that concerns me around this case. I believe above anything else, whether George Zimmerman had ill intent in his heart when the shooting took place or it was self-defense, I do believe that he saw a young man walking in a neighborhood and already had some preconceived notions about this young man. And to be honest, I can't say that it's without merit. To be honest, there are many people in our community that portray themselves in a certain light and behave in a certain way. And so what you see many times may resemble something you done seen before that was a little suspect. You done seen, you got your cousins and they dressing like so-and-so, and cousin Pookie is up to no good. And so whenever you see somebody that's dressed like cousin Pookie, you just assume that they're up to no good. But I don't believe that God ever called the people of God to be so superficial that we make judgments based off of the superficial. As a matter of fact, when God is talking through his prophet about King David, he said, don't look at the outward appearance, because God doesn't see the outward appearance. God looks on the heart. And so I personally am invested. I personally am emotionally moved by this particular cause, because I know what it's like to be an African American man in the capital city. There have been many times I get pulled pulled over because I'm a black man driving in a lag. And y'all know sometimes I be leaning in the lag. Leaning in the... That's funny to me. And no, I know what it's like to be pulled over for driving too slow. And you can't tell me that it doesn't have to do with my personal appearance. You know, I'm trying to lose weight so I'm not so big, burly, and intimidating or whatnot. But you see a fella like me walking down the street and I look like I'm affiliated with the Crips today. And I'm not. I'm the pastor of Abundant Life Church. And there are many times when I've been seen, step on to, as a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, weather was bad, and I decided, I was going to have on my colorful swag out, whatever you call this thing. And I'm walking, into the building, one of the state buildings in our city. I have my hood still on, and I walk into the elevator, and I watched a young lady clench her purse and slide over to the corner. I'm like, dang, I didn't know that I was a thug. I didn't know I was a hood, but I thought about the fact that my appearance at that point may have caused her to make certain assumptions about me. Now, can I tell you, friend, that my hoodie does not rob me of my high school diploma. My hoodie in no way robs me of my college degree. My hoodie does not negate the fact that I have a master's degree. My hoodie does not rob me of the hundreds of people God has called me to lead in this day and age. And so all I'm saying is that we've got to get to the point where as a people, we stop judging people by what we see. This doesn't only have to do with race and culture. We do this all the time. You see people who have themselves together physically, they got their clothes and they stitched and itched, or they got on the baddest stilettos and the baddest clutch, and you think that person has it together. You don't know how they cry. You don't know what the demons that they're struggling with behind closed doors. And so this Sunday, as we gather for our hoodie worship, I want us to try to reimagine the way we think about the world. I want us to see people the way God sees. Stop looking at outfits. Stop looking at automobiles. Stop looking at what side of town people live on. Stop judging by the superficial, or we're all as guilty as George Zimmerman of making a judgment call based off of superficial means. Start seeing through eyes of faith, trying to see people as God sees them. Because to be honest, people of God, the truth of the matter is, if God only saw me from the exterior, He never would have called me. God only saw you through exterior and superficial eyes, He probably would have left you in the slump that He found you in. But oh, thank God for eyes of grace, who look beyond all of my faults and all my Maybelline and my running mascara and the 10 inches of weave running down my back, and sees the potential that's in my heart. I love y'all. See you Sunday. Hoodie worship. Yeah.
Listen to this. See, He's mine, and I am His. It doesn't matter what I did. He only sees me for who I am. Does anybody know that tonight? Oh.